A couple of announcements, then we're going to take some of your calls, and then get into Mike Rivero's expert take. He's one of the most careful and thoughtful 9/11 investigators out there on the... So we'll get his take on the whole National Geographic hit piece last night that I didn't have time to watch the whole thing. I was busy working on the new film, Fall of the Republic. Speaking of films, you need to get the most important film, the biggest film I've ever made, The Obama Deception, on DVD. And when you get it, make copies of it. You want to have a revolution? Buy a DVD burner. Buy a bunch of copies, a bunch of blank DVDs. Make 100. Make a copy or two every night. Give them to friends, family, neighbors. Put them on windshields of police cars. Give them to neighbors, whatever. This will break the left-right paradigm. They think they're watching an Obama film against Obama. They find out that it exposes Bush, Obama as just being frontmen puppets. It shatters that left-right control system. High-quality DVD with the extras. And when you purchase the film, you support the radio show and the TV studios I'm building and the websites and the work we're doing that has huge cost associated with it as we try to up our game and do a better and better job for you out there. But we are the tip of the spear. We're stepping up to the plate with our responsibility. We're asking you to support us. So The Obama Deception on DVD, available at Infowars.com on the online shopping cart. Watch it in the highest quality at PrisonPlanet.tv. And a new film that comes out in 2 weeks. You can pre-order it now. We'll be the first to be shipping this out. I've been given authorization to start shipping in a couple days before the 18th, so you get it on or around. It's Camp FEMA. I'm a consultant on it. I'm the most prominent voice in it. There's a lot of other great people in it. This is kind of the InfoWars-centric version of it. And so this trailer just came out yesterday. Here's the audio for radio listeners. Here's the video for PrisonPlanet.tv, folks. Here it is, Camp FEMA, available for pre-order right now, so you can get it first at Infowars.com or by calling 888-253-3139. Here it is. The elites have said that they want to have a final revolution, that they know the public's going to revolt against them, so that's why they've scientifically set up the surveillance grid, the cashless society. This whole continuity of government system is designed to suppress and control the people of America.
My name is Sam Ozaki. I'm a native-born American citizen, Los Angeles, California. When Franklin Delano Roosevelt signed Executive Order 9066, we were all rounded up like cattle and placed into America's concentration camps.
In May 2007, President Bush signed a National Security Presidential Directive 51.
Most Americans would agree that it would be prudent to have a plan to provide for the continuity of government. They have such a plan. They introduced a little sketchy public version that's clearly inadequate, but they said, don't worry, there's a detailed classified version.
Army Regulation 210-35. Now, this was set up in 1986 secretly, and for 10-plus years, it was secret. And in 1997, Bill Clinton declassified this, and we were the first major radio show to cover it. Since then, it's been expanded. This lists 12 camps to hold American citizens that have been built by the United States Army.
Beginning in October, the Army plans to station an active unit inside the United States.
Under Northcom and under the new Homeland Brigade, it was first going to be 3,000, and then 20,000, and then 40,000.
The 3rd Infantry Division's 1st Brigade combat team has spent 35 of the last 60 months in Iraq.
Combat-hardened troops who've been running camps and centers in Iraq are now coming back to the United States to, quote, carry out law enforcement actions.
The Army unit may be called upon to help with civil unrest and crowd control.
The primary purpose of this force is to provide help to people in need in the aftermath of a WMD.
We've got the rest of the trailer up on Infowars.com if you want to go see it. I want to go back to Mike Rivero. But, Mike, I mean, we understand they're hiring provocateurs. We understand they're hiring white supremacists. We understand they're doing all this Ford Foundation funds La Raza, that means for our race everything, for those outside our race nothing. They had the former Austin mayor, when he was mayor, get up and give a proclamation that Hispanics are the master race. I mean, I have the video of this. It's insane. So they want us all fighting with each other. Yes. And they're just going to, I guess, continue to do it. I think the key here is we need citizens to go stake out these protests and in the Fed events and follow the troublemakers home and put them under full surveillance and shoot video of them and show that they're cops or that they're informants and follow them to the police station, follow them when they meet their handler, and then put it up on YouTube, do a report. And then we need to start arresting these people. I mean, don't the Denver cops that attacked the other Denver cops to try to blame it on the protesters last year, Denver Post admits, the police admit? I mean, shouldn't they go to jail? Shouldn't all these cops that do this go to jail, Mike?
They don't seem to. I mean, we see cops committing these kind of provocations, and somebody says, oh, this is for the good of the nation and national security, and it serves a higher purpose, and all of a sudden the court system turns a blind eye. I think anybody who still expects a fair administration of justice from the American legal system is living in a dream world, because the American legal system is to basically keep the people down, to extract wealth from them, to justify corporate theft and government persecution. And anybody who commits a crime in the name of the government, basically they're allowed to get away with it. I mean, look at the free pass that's been given to all the people who were carrying out torture and other war crimes in Iraq. And nothing's going to happen to them. It's very obvious they're going to be protected. We've got Dick Cheney out there saying, yeah, we were out there doing all this stuff. What are you going to do about it? And that really is their attitude. And you're absolutely correct. Right now, the government is trying to create the illusion that those of us who want freedom are the bad guys, that there's something wrong with us, that we don't trust Big Daddy government to look after our every single need and want. And no, we don't want that from the government. I want to be left alone. I want the government to go away and bother somebody else and just leave me alone to live out my life in peace. And we can't seem to get that. Government seems to view it as its holy mission, handed down from whatever gods are up there in the sky or under the ground, that they're supposed to always expand and manage more and more of your life. And that is really the danger. Government never stops growing. There's always an unending supply of nieces and nephews who need a job, and so government will invent one more regulatory compliance that we're all
until everything collapses, and then they will literally put us in slave camps.
Absolutely. I was watching a show about Russia last night where the serf system was literally created by imperial decree to counter the fact that peasants were starting to leave the lands held by the nobles and go to cities, try and find jobs, and try and improve their life. How dare the serfs improve their lives? We're going to lock them on the land. They become the property of the nobility, and that created the serf system in Russia, which, of course, ultimately led to the communist revolution.
And by the way, and the bankers knew the serfs were going to rebel, so they created a false valve. That's all been declassified, admitted as well, that Bank of England, J.P. Morgan Chase, Goldman Sachs, same companies all funded the Bolsheviks. It was just a takeover from one group of thugs to another. The British cousins knocked off their cousins. When you read the Club of Rome, David Rockefeller, their own books, like the memoir he wrote in 2004, they admit they want, in their own words, a neo-feudal serf system. That's what they want. And they're going to license how many kids we have. And I mean, these people are sick. And until people start saying no, it's only going to get worse.
Well, the problem with people who feel that there should be leaders in the world is they often see themselves as the leaders. And inevitably, they think they should be in charge of absolutely everything because they know better. People who aspire to high positions of power will justify their criminal actions and their abuse of people by saying it serves a higher and nobler purpose, which is embodied through them, that ultimately they are the hope for a better world of tomorrow. I mean, even Adolf Hitler thought that. So did Stalin. So did Alexander the Great. Obviously, they were wrong, but you can't convince them of that with facts, logic, and law. It has to finally be settled with a crash of whatever the ruling body is. And then they say, well, maybe that wasn't the best way to do it. The problem is those self-elected rulers of the world, every time there's a new revolution and a new change in history, they say, okay, we won't make that mistake again. So they're always learning. I mean, for 2,000 years, they have been developing the skills and means to control the population. The arrival of the internet completely derailed all of that. That's why you've got Jay Rockefeller out there saying he wished it had never been invented, because they had gotten used to being able to use the corporate media to lie us into whatever direction they wanted to go. We need to invade Iraq, we'll tell them about weapons of mass destruction. We need to invade these people, we'll tell them about biological weapons. We need to invade these people over here, we'll do a concocted story about stolen incubators and dead premature babies. They were used to doing that because during the 1950s and 60s, it worked. We believed everything the corporate media and government told us about those gosh darn commies. And we fell for it. And we paid trillions of dollars for the world's largest nuclear arsenal, for the only country on earth to actually use nuclear weapons on another country, the United States of America.
And meanwhile, it turned out that the whole time, the big industries here were supplying the Russians with everything. The whole Lend-Lease program, the whole weaponized program, it never ended. The Ford and Chevy trucks were being shipped over to then be shipped to Vietnam to fight because the globalists made money on both ends.